Hi guys and welcome today, right? I have been looking forward to this all day. International Sushi Day. I'm getting to watch the legend that is Daniel Lambert, who is going to make sushi and so much over the next half hour. You're going to have so much fun with Obento. So Daniel, can I just say, it's been a mad couple of months for you.
It sure has. I mean, everything kind of started for me on TikTok and things like that, and it just blew up from there, you know.
Over the next half hour, we're going to be chatting to him about how that has gone. Welcome everybody. Don't be nervous. This is going to be the next half hour of fun and you're going to have a lot of food by the end of it. Now you're going to show us what you have, what's in the boxes with Obento that everyone has.
Yeah, so the first thing you're going to see in your box is obviously the short grain rice. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get this washed straight away, okay? It's very important to wash the rice because if you don't wash it, it's too starchy and it actually gets very, very chewy.
Now, we were talking about this during the week and this was the first thing you said. So for everyone who's going to be doing sushi for the first time today, why is this important?
It's important because sushi rice is extremely starchy, okay? And you have to be very gentle with the rice when you're washing it. See what I'm doing with my fingers there? I'm just getting really kind of, gentle with it. You don't want to break it because you'll actually release more starch out of it then, So you're just getting the outer layer off. So that's the first wash there done, okay? We're going to do this 3 times.
Okay.
So we're going to do it 3 times. You have to use cold water as well.
Now, if you have any questions, you can stick them into the chat box. I have my phone here, and we'll be asking Daniel throughout the whole broadcast today.
So the uramaki rolls is basically the Japanese word for inside out. That's kind of, you can't really call it a California roll because California roll has crab and stuff in it. This is vegetarian, vegan as well if you wanted. It's really kind of versatile. So it is what it is. So that's the last wash there, okay? And then we're gonna get it into the pot. Now, big misconception with rice. People are always saying, oh, do I strain it? Do I not? You never strain rice, ever.
Okay.
So what we do is, rice goes into the pot, and you bring the water basically just up to your first knuckle. Okay, now I know everybody has different size fingers and stuff like that, but usually it's the same diameter,
We were measuring this earlier on, by the way.
Yeah.
When he was saying, I was like, oh, actually, we kind of do the same. But anyway, if we are going too fast with this later on this evening, you'll be able to re-watch it all again. It's also live on the Taste as well. And I'm looking forward to coming home here later on today and doing it myself because I've been watching you over the past few hours. And I think for anybody, I love food, absolutely adore food. When I'm cooking it, I'm a bit nervous, but you've made it's fun. The Obento boxes are fun. It's family, friends.
It's just amazing. You can see me sticking my finger into the water here. I'm actually just checking to see if it's up to my knuckle. So that's exactly what it should look like there. So yeah, I'm going to get that on a high heat, just until it comes up to the boil. All right, and when it comes to the boil, we're going to let it simmer then, okay?
Okay.
That's that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to get my vegetable oil heated up ever so slightly. So I'm just going to go into the pan with that.
Now today we're using tofu, so you can tell us a bit about that. So what we're going to be making over the next while?
Yeah, so tofu, it's made from soy milk, right? So it's kind of like the same way you make cheese, except you do it with soy milk instead. And it's so versatile. So it's basically like a sponge. So this is the one that you'll have today. So we're just going to open that and strain it. Okay. It will be quite wet at first, but it's okay because we're going to give it a very quick marinade with some soy sauce and rice wine vinegar. Okay, so that's that there.
We have the veggie ones right behind me here. I swear to God, it has taken me absolutely everything not to eat them over the last couple of minutes.
So we're literally just going to slice down like so. So I'm talking about maybe just a half a centimeter.
Okay.
In thickness, and you're just going to want to slice them down again then. So you can see this is exactly kind of how it should look there,
Perfect.
So yeah, tofu is so versatile. Whatever flavorings you want to use, whether it be soy sauce, vegetable stock, mustard, anything like that, sesame oil, whatever flavor you put onto tofu, that's the flavor that it's going to incorporate.
Brilliant.
So it's like magic,
And I think as
it's
well,
a magic sponge.
and it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that. It tastes unbelievable. In the whole box that everybody has today, they have everything. So.
They have absolutely everything, yeah. So we're just going to get this into a small bowl. If you have a bowl there beside you, what you're going to do is get that in there.
Okay.
And you're going to give it a small bit of rice wine vinegar. So we're using Obento's lovely rice wine vinegar. It's got a really nice kind of sweet, sharp taste to it. One of the nicest I've ever tasted. So we're going to go in with that.
Now, just what you just did there for people who are like, they want to make sure of measurements.
Yeah,
What would you say yourself?
I would
you know
say
yourself.
for the tofu that you have there, I would say about a tablespoon of each.
Okay.
So you're just going to go in with a bit of the soy sauce. Oh, it would help if I could open it first. So yeah, in there. So you just give it a light coat, a tablespoon of each from each one, kind of equal amounts, you know. So that's that. Give that a quick wash around. So while that's like that, what we're going to do is we're going to work on our vegetables, okay?
Lovely.
So the cucumber, it's quite straightforward. What we're going to do is slice it in half and then straight down the middle. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a spoon. If you have a spoon there at home, what we'll do is we're just going to take the middle part of the cucumber out, okay?
Okay.
Because you don't want any moisture in the uramaki roll, because what happens is it'll get very, very soggy and then the rice will get chewy. And that's the reason we wash the rice in the first place, so it doesn't get chewy.
So that's one of the big mistakes that people would make if they were doing something like that, would be the rice would be a bit too chewy.
Exactly, yeah, and it's not a nice experience overall. So that's that there. So I'm just going to give them a quick slice. Make sure your knuckles, I'm pretty sure there's loads of chefs out there, but anybody that isn't familiar with cooking, just make sure your knuckles are nice and close to the knife. And we're just going to slice down. So it almost comes out like little kind of a battens even.
It's the most therapeutic thing watching chefs cook in front of you. Part of me's like, can I just have it now, please? Can I taste?
with the sharp knife as well. Yeah. But so that's them there. That's pretty much how they should look. All right. If they're not perfect, you can just kind of trim them up. And if you have any bits left over, stick them into a bowl, put them in a salad for later for dinner or a snack or like that.
And this is like perfect, you know, if you've got friends over, or if you're having date night, or I know we were talking about earlier on about if your family.
Yeah, for family as well. Like, I mean, it's so easy. Like, to be honest, like it's the kit makes it so versatile and so easy for anybody to create this. You know, especially if you're not in the mood to go out for dinner. You know, and you're like, you know what, I can actually do all this from my home, and it takes half an hour. You know,
and that is the thing. A half an hour, and you've got this amazing Obento taste in your mouth that you're like, this is perfect. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. So the avocado, I've just sliced it in half there. Okay, stuck the knife in, and I've took the core out then.
I have never seen somebody do that so perfectly and easily over the last while.
I've done it a while. So I'm just going to go in with a spoon with the avocado. I'm pretty sure everybody's done this before. Some people have actually avocado cutters. My my family has one. That was the first time I actually seen it yesterday, so that was a new thing for me. And me being a chef, an avocado cutter, yeah. So basically, you would go in with it, and it slices it as you take it out.
Wow, gone the old-fashioned way.
Pretty much, yeah.
It must be mad, right? So we were talking about, you know, TikTok and how crazy your life has become over the last while on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean,
you were on about a video like, I put up a video with 250,000 views, and I'm going, hang on a second, 250,000 is massive.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all basically happened at the very first time Ireland went into lockdown. You know, I was kind of struggling for things. What am I going to do now? I'm off work, and I said, basically my girlfriend said, download this app, TikTok, it's brilliant, and I seen people cooking on it, and I said, you know what, I want to do that. So I downloaded it, and it just turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Some of your stuff is just incredible.
Yeah,
and you would be hungry afterwards. Like, I think everyone's probably going to be hungry now watching this. If you're not doing the Cookalong, you're doing it later on tonight. About how easy it is to make as well.
So basically, what I'm going to do here is, the tofu, okay, it's just a slight marination on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it into the flour, the egg. So in here I've got just a bit of plain flour. I'm pretty sure you just have that at the house. And I've got 2 eggs. I've just beat them up with a fork, and that's pretty much that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go in with Obento's lovely panko breadcrumbs. These are one of the best breadcrumbs I've ever used. Just the golden colour that comes off these is just amazing, So I'm just going to give them a quick open. I did a lot of my videos you'll see on TikTok. I am using these panko breadcrumbs, and wait till you hear the crunch off them. It's unbelievable.
I can't wait.
So yeah, that's that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quick check on the rice.
Yeah, perfect. So that's been done for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, so you can see it's come up to the boil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off, and I'm just going to simmer it. Okay.
So this is the important part.
Yeah, this is the important part. So you basically want to simmer that rice now. Okay. So, well, depending if people are at home and their rice hasn't come up to the boil yet, or it has, and I'm working a bit too fast, it'll get there. And just don't be afraid to type into the chat, and I'll direct you.
Definitely. If you have any questions, just let us know. Type it into the chat, and we'll ask Daniel over the next couple of minutes.
So there we go, into the flour. I mean, it's basically, it's just full of flavour now. It's a sponge of flavour. So into the flour, into the egg. and into Obento's lovely breadcrumbs. So you can see how nice they actually stick to that.
Amazing.
So yeah, we're going to do all of them, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fry them in the oil. So a quick tip, you know, basically I would say to check and see if your oil is the correct temperature. I like to put a bit of wood in there, like a chopstick, you know, a toothpick, anything like that. Or you can just put a bit of flour in, and if it starts to sizzle like that, it's ready. So I'm just going to turn that down ever so slightly to a medium heat.
And you know, like if people are watching here today and they're going, oh, I'm not that much of a confident cook, or I'm afraid that it might not look like this masterpiece. This isn't what it's about. It's about the fun. It's about the flavors.
It's about the fun. It's about the flavors. And to be honest, I think everyone's will look like a masterpiece because Obento has made it so easy for it to look like a masterpiece, because everything is just, you know, in its little packets and its sachets, and it's all ready for you. You basically don't have to make anything. You're putting everything together, you know.
Okay.
So it's so versatile.
It all just looks so simple. So if anyone is actually doing it right now, type in, let us know how you're getting on as you're doing it. But it just looks ridiculously simple.
Yeah, so basically if you wanted to make this vegan, so this is actually vegetarian at the moment because I'm using egg. So if you wanted to make this vegan, what you would do is you would just use a small bit of soy sauce. So if I was to give measurements, I would say about 300 mils of soy to about maybe 150 grams of caster sugar. You put that onto a pot, bring it to a boil, and let it cool down, and it creates a syrup, okay? And then when the syrup cools down, you'll pour the syrup over the tofu. And the tofu is so sticky that Obento's breadcrumbs will stick to it straight away, you know? And if you wanted to make it, you know, your own, you can put chicken in here, beef, anything really. It doesn't just have to be fish, you know? So yeah,
today we're doing tofu.
Yeah, tofu we're doing today. I just think it's, you know, it's probably one of the leading ingredients now at the moment that a lot of people are using, you know. So I thought it would be best to use it.
For the next while with yourself, it must be busy. Is it what's coming up, what's happening, or can you even say what's coming up in the next while?
Hopefully now, I have hopefully I pitched for a book.
Fantastic.
So hopefully I have a book on the way. So all my TikTok videos will be condensed into a lovely little place for people to, you know, learn. And basically what I like to do is I like to give people the power to make their, you know, favorite foods and fast foods favorites, you know, really, really simple. Like the McDonald's McMuffin was a big hit. You know, making that kind of stuff from scratch, people, I think they build a relationship to food that they already know. And if you incorporate that and stuff, people just love it. You know, and I think that's the success to that sort of things, you know.
Has there been moments, so just say for me, right, I haven't seen you today, I've got no bento box at home. Have you got people now who would drop you a WhatsApp or an Instagram or a TikTok to go, I got this Obento box earlier, will you let me know what to do? Like, are they asking for advice one-on-one rather than, you know, commenting under a section or anything like that?
Yes, actually I got a few messages like that, yeah. But I mean, yeah, like, I mean, I have no problem. I always help people out if they ever wanted to, you know, drop a message or whatever about Obento's products. I have no problem helping them out in that way. So basically what I'm doing here. So what's happening here now is, right, again, I'm using Hellmann's mayonnaise here, but if you wanted to make this vegan, you use vegan mayonnaise, right? Okay. So in with the mayo, Obento's, again, lovely Japanese soy sauce. So we're making a Japanese mayo here.
So how much about that? 2 teaspoons?
Yeah, so about 2 teaspoons to 1.5 tablespoons. And I'm going to add in a small bit of sesame oil as well, okay? Okay. That's going to give us that nice kind of a, you know, flavour off that, a nice nutty flavour. So it might look a bit, you know, non-appetizing at first, but what you do is you keep working in and it comes to a lovely kind of consistency. You can see that there. So that's just perfect there. That's the way we want it.
And that's only about maybe 20 seconds or so.
20 seconds and you've just made Japanese mayonnaise. Congratulations. So there we go.
So much here today. International Sushi Day.
Yeah, so that's the mayonnaise done. Another quick check on the rice. The rice is just coming up now. Just going to give it a wee toss.
Brilliant. And with the rice, you were saying as well, to make sure it's all cooled down.
Just definitely. So as you can see, when the water's fully evaporated, right, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke a small few holes in it, okay? That's just going to
what does that do?
Basically what that does is that allows the air to travel through the rice and cool down faster and evenly as well. So it's basically even distribution of air through the rice. So I'm going to turn that off the heat now, leave the lid on. That rice is going to be perfect.
Great.
10 minutes or so. And then what we'll do is we'll We'll get it onto a tray and things like that. So
That's when the fun starts.
that's when the fun starts, is right. So we're going to cook the tofu now, okay? So
And is there a set amount of time that you'd leave the tofu on its own, or
yeah, so it usually
could you have just worked and go? Could you be able to just put it in straight
so
away?
basically, right, the reason, like, when you're marinating things, okay, so for the likes of, you know, chicken, beef, fish, anything like that, you would normally marinate overnight. But because tofu is such a sponge, it actually takes on flavor within minutes.
Right.
You know, so it's a really, really special ingredient.
And with the oil here, there's a lot of oil in it.
So it's actually, funny enough, it's actually not. That's a shallow fry.
Right.
So what we're doing here now, for anyone wondering, this is called shallow frying. At home as well, make sure when you're putting the tofu into the pan, make sure you're putting it away from you, just so you don't get any oil splashbacks or anything like that, you know. So yeah, this actually cooks very, very quick. You'll be very, very surprised. Now, it actually
If we're talking minute-wise, 30 seconds, minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
You're talking 2 minutes for this to be fully cooked. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's not too bad. So, I'm just going to give them a quick flip over now.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Now, what do they remind you of?
Do you know, I actually thought fish fingers.
That's the one. That's the one.
I
was cooking this for my family last night, and they said, "Geez, you know, they look like fish fingers." I said, "Oh, geez, thanks very much." I know, I'm only joking. But that's them there. And I tell you, wait till you taste them with the Japanese mayonnaise. The crunch of those breadcrumbs is just sensational.
Have you found we've become more confident eaters in Ireland over the last while, even through lockdown?
I think people are really starting to come out of, you know, their own, you know, comfort zones of food, and they're starting to really, you know, get to explore food in a different way. And I think TikTok has really helped people do that, you know, especially with, you know, all the different food trends and stuff going out like that. I mean, I'm showing people how to make popcorn ice cream from scratch without a popcorn machine. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to kind of suit the market. You know, you have to suit. Well, people, not everyone's going to have an ice cream machine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
that was what, 2 minutes there?
2 minutes exactly. Well, probably a bit over, but anyways. So yeah, 2 minutes roughly. So we're going to take them out, and you can see how crispy they are.
They look incredible. They actually smell incredible as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They smell unreal.
They are just unbelievable.
Do you have to wait until they cool down, or?
No, you can serve them hot, but realistically, like if you're cooking these with your rice, they're going to be room temperature anyway.
Okay.
You know, and they're actually quite. Wait till you listen to the crispiness of this. So you can see how crispy they are. You know, that's the way you want them. So we're just going to leave these aside for later.
I think what I like about the Obento boxes as well is that, you know, sometimes if you're trying new food and it could be a bit daunting, everything's there. It's just there.
Yeah, everything is there, and it's just, you know, I can't describe how easy it is, you know. I was so surprised when I see it, and I was like, oh my God, anybody can make this, you know. So
that's perfect, you know, for a Friday. Like, just say tonight now you've got everyone, you've got a couple of friends over, or you're doing it with the kids. This is a perfect thing to do.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah.
And for them, you know, to dip their fingers into the food and do all that sort of stuff as well.
That's it. Right, so
I would enjoy stuff like that.
That's the rice there now, okay?
Brilliant.
So you can see it's perfectly cooked, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually let it cool down at room temperature.
Okay.
Now, here's a fun fact. So basically, if you're looking to be a sushi chef, you actually have to train 3 years, okay, just washing rice before you even start to cook anything.
I actually worked in a chef's. I was just carrying the plates and all that. The stuff I found out about rice, I just thought it was very much so, you know, thrown into the pot and that's it.
Exactly, yeah.
With that type of stuff when you're talking about, you know, the cold water at the start and then afterwards and all that as well. We've got some questions here now.
Cool.
We will do it. What is your background in Japanese cookery, and where would you recommend someone with a real passion for it should they want to learn it in Ireland?
I would say Miyazi in County Cork. There's a lovely sushi restaurant there. It's actually a Michelin star.
Okay.
And that's very good. Miyazaki, it's called. Unbelievable. That's where I would definitely recommend to go.
For anybody that's watching today and they're going, we're going way too fast, we're recording this and you'll be able to see it later on this evening, and it's also on the Taste as well. They're doing it live as well, so if people are watching there, hello. More questions. What's the difference between regular and panko breadcrumbs?
So regular breadcrumbs would be basically breadcrumbs that have been, you know, with basically what we would do is we'd freeze them in work, freeze normal bread and put it through like you know, a food processor, and that would be regular breadcrumbs. Panko breadcrumbs is done a Japanese way, so it's Japanese bread. It's completely different at all. It's not vegan, so if you are looking to do vegan, you will need to get vegan ones.
Right, okay.
Which, you know, you can get them. So this is actually where the magic is.
Right. So this is going to be this is in the box.
This is in the box. Obento has supplied this, and it is such a really good ingredient because basically it saves you from making your own kind of rice mixture. Like a normal rice mixture, I would do with mirin and sugar. I would reduce that down, let it cool, and then pour it over the hot rice. But with this, it's literally just it's magic.
Brilliant.
And it helps the rice stick properly. So we get all that on there. It's quite strong. It is a dehydrated vinegar, and it's actually Japanese. It's actually one of the best Japanese brands of vinegar as well. So we're just being very gentle with the rice like this. Don't try and scoop into the rice because you'll actually break down the grains. Okay, and that is just not good.
So just like before, when you were trying to divide it all out, you're trying to get the air to be at it and to let it breathe a bit.
Yeah, pretty much. So you're basically just letting that cool down. Rice needs oxygen, as well, to kind of get that lovely texture that you want. The Japanese treat it as treat it as a human. Mm-hmm. It's a religion in some Japanese cultures.
Somebody wanted to know where did your passion come from? So we know you started off with
my passion.
COVID.
Yeah, I really from the start. I suppose when I was young, my auntie was showing me how to cook and stuff, and I lived with my nan for a while as well. And I used to come home from school when I was living with my nan and stuff, and I didn't really have anyone to cook for me, so I just kind of learned how to cook myself. And I love going into the kitchen and just exploring what I can actually do, And it was the whole creative freedom that I could just go into the kitchen, whatever day it was, turn on the music and just cook whatever I wanted. Like when I was a kid, I actually thought that robots made food. I didn't think that there was any chefs.
Our first chat that we had, I was asking this question. It's like he used to think he'd go into restaurants and that a robot would be behind. Little did you know, a couple of years later.
Well, that's it, So, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to toast off some sesame seeds while we're waiting for the rice to cool.
This is somebody wants to know, could you bake the tofu?
You can bake the tofu, but you will need to spray the panko breadcrumbs with a small bit of oil of some sort, okay? Because what will happen is it'll be too dry. You do need to get a bit of moisture on there, just to kind of get the crispiness going, Perfect. So we're getting that on a nice high heat. So these are probably the sesame seeds that you were given in the box.
Somebody wants to know what brand of tofu did you use as well?
Yeah, so we are using, I'll show you now. So we're using the Yakso tofu, okay?
Lovely.
So this is, it's absolutely amazing. I use it myself when I'm making stuff at home.
Everyone in the chat here is like, you are a wizard, you are flying through. It's brilliant, it's great, but...
Oh, that's good. So if anybody is, missing steps, don't worry, just ask a question, and if you do fall behind, it will be on YouTube later on.
It will be, yeah. And I'm looking forward to I'll be doing this later on as well. I'm really looking forward to it. I have the confidence. Food I can eat.
People are going to be like, what is this guy doing? Putting sesame seeds into a pan. Don't worry, I'm just toasting them.
Okay.
I'm just toasting them. So this is an easy way to toast sesame seeds, because I'll tell you a story actually. I was in work the last day, and I was toasting off some sesame seeds. It actually wasn't the last day, it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And
I put them onto a tray, and I put them in the oven, 180 degrees, 10 minutes down. I walked away. I came back, and there was no sesame seeds left. They were all at the bottom of the oven because the fan had blew them away. So there was sesame seeds everywhere. We were finding sesame seeds in just everything for months, and that obviously isn't good. So
and how long would you do this for? Because I would have a fear that I would burn.
Yeah, so this is actually where it comes in easy. So basically, once the sesame seeds start to smoke, you'll get a lovely smell and aroma off them, and they'll turn brown. And once they start to turn brown, you kill the heat, because there's a remaining heat in the pan that will finish them perfectly for you.
Right.
So once they turn brown, off the heat.
Brilliant. Everything's coming together. And if you have any more questions, please free. I've got my phone here. So
So if anybody has cling film at home as well, just for the
So talk about this. Okay. So in the box you'll have this.
In the box, right? Okay. You'll have your very own Obento sushi bamboo mat. Okay, which is, I think it's amazing actually. There's a lot of ones out there at the moment, and these are actually very, very good.
Brilliant.
So I like to wrap mine in cling film. So like it's completely up to yourself. But if you wrap it in cling film, basically it tends not to stick to the bamboo mat, especially if the rice isn't done properly. Or what it does, it saves up washing as well. And I think
a man after my own heart. So if you just like throw it on the bin, it's fine.
Throw it all in the bin. You know what I mean? So it's if you have your family over cooking for dinner, you don't have to worry about the dishes. You just take the cling film off, back in the press, ready for the next night.
So if people don't have the cling film though, it makes no difference.
It doesn't make no difference at all. Okay. I just think it's handier for washable purposes. But yeah, so there's the sesame seeds. See the way they've turned brown?
Yeah.
Straight off the heat. Kill the
Great.
heat. There you go. Voila. Congratulations, you've toasted sesame seeds.
Brilliant. We're all
So
alive.
that's them. Okay. So
Lovely. So everything's coming together here really nice now at the minute. You've got the tofu, they're all in the breadcrumbs. You've got your sauces,
So
the
I'm
rice
actually-
is over here.
yeah.
So now we're coming to the avocado as well.
The avocado, yeah. So
Delicious.
I'm actually ready. I'm ready to start doing up the sushi roll.
Brilliant, great. This is the fun part. So this
Yeah.
is where you get everyone involved. Bit of crack. See how it goes. So what have you got here now?
So this is the yakinori sheet. So basically, uramaki is basically a Japanese word for inside out. So usually the inside out sushi rolls are usually known as California rolls, but unfortunately I can't call this a California roll because a California roll actually has imitation crab in it.
Okay.
With avocado and cream cheese and things like that. So this is why we call it uramaki, just for anybody wondering, you know.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get a nice sheet down there. If you want, you can make them smaller. You can cut off small edges, but we're not going to do that. We're going to treat ourselves today.
Lovely.
So
I will have it all, every bit of it.
So I actually have some rice prepared from earlier, but look, if your rice isn't cooled down enough, just wait for it to get to room temperature and stuff like that. As I said, the video will be available later. So what I'm going to do now is, okay.
Now I'm going to be that person, so I'm going to ask that question. So how would you know?
How would you know? So basically, it should be the same temperature as your skin.
Okay.
Pretty much. So like it basically, I know people are going to say, okay, right, well, rice is very high risk. This is okay to eat. Like you should never put sushi rice in the fridge ever. So you should use it 2.5 hours after you eat it, and if you're not eating it, throw it away.
So that's what I would have done. So I
Yeah.
would have, cooked that maybe the night before.
Yeah.
If I knew I was doing sushi, that's a no-no.
No, because sushi rice is it's very it's high risk. Okay, so
Right.
you can't put it in the fridge after it's been cooled down at room temperature. You know, there's safe levels of bacteria in it.
Okay.
But if you're putting it in the fridge and taking it out again, some of those safe levels of bacteria can multiply. So we're gonna just make as many rolls as you can, and
Perfect.
So yeah, basically we're just gonna get a nice roll of this now. So I like to be honest, I like to get a good, probably about just a bit smaller than a tennis ball.
Right.
Okay, into a ball and then into the middle of the sushi mat like that. All right, and what we're gonna do is, now, the Japanese have a way of doing it with their knuckles, but just for family purposes, what you can do at home is you're basically just pressing it out like this.
Brilliant.
Really, really simple. So yeah, get the whole family involved. You can line up a couple of chopping boards and see what sort of creations you can come up with, It is important to get it spread out, just not to the very edge, but just mainly evenly over the seaweed,
Some people are wondering where can they see the video later on. Like it's going to be on Obento's Instagram page, and we're going to send links ourselves.
Yeah,
go onto our Instagram and the taste as well. We'll push the video out for you can have a look, and you can press stop or pause and have a look, or
Yeah,
have a glass of vino or sake or whatever it is
Exactly,
later on
yeah.
when you're doing it.
So yeah, that's that there now. You can see it's
Now,
starting to
what
kinda-
about thickness when it comes to it? Like,
So
what would
th-
you say?
It should be probably be the thickness of, how do I describe this now? Yeah, so good question. I would say about 0.5 centimeter upwards anyways.
Okay.
It should be quite thick, but not too thick at the same time. It's very hard to describe. I would say about 0.5 centimeter.
Some people are loving your tips on the cling film idea. I always love those little hacks, makes life a tiny bit more easier.
It does, yeah. So you can see here now, see the way I'm starting to push it out to the edge? This is where
Yeah.
I'm going to start to use my knuckles. Okay,
Right.
so my knuckles are going to go in deeper.
And are you better off using your hands than using anything else?
Definitely. If you're looking for the full Japanese experience, you got to use your hands.
Okay.
This is how you learn, Now, if you want, you can cheat. You can put a piece of cling film over and get a rolling pin.
Okay.
You can do that.
There's no fun in that,
But
though.
there's
This
no
is-
fun in
yeah,
that.
no
You want to
fun.
get your hands dirty. Do you know what I mean? So that's it there.
Lovely.
So you can see that there now, right? So I'm going to wash my hands now.
Brilliant.
And I'm going to put a few sesame seeds that we've toasted straight
So
on.
these were the ones from earlier on that you toasted,
Yeah.
right?
Now, if people are feeling creative and they have other stuff at home, they have nuts and things like that. Basically, you can blitz up some walnuts, any sorts of powder, things like that, and you can sprinkle them on top. Okay.
For any newbies, basically, these are one of these dishes you could put absolutely anything into it.
Absolutely anything. You could
Lovely.
literally anything. Now within reason. You know, yeah, people would be shoving bits of ham and stuff into it, and no, you know, there's a line.
Yeah. Throughout the years, you must have had some hacks and loads of stuff like the cling film. What has been the best one that you always tell people when they say to you, you know, those generic questions? Come on, why don't you tell us?
Yeah, like I suppose for cooking, I say like, the first thing you have to do is you have to invest in a good knife first of all, because like basically when you're working with food all the time, people are always like, oh my.
Just before you start there again, so you turned that around.
Oh yeah, sorry. So
right.
basically,
just talk through that there for a second.
I've basically turned the sheet around, okay, onto the cling film.
Okay.
So this is going to be the outside of our sushi roll. Now,
Lovely.
if you want, you can do it the opposite way, but that's normal sushi. But we're doing uramaki today, so
okay.
So yeah, pretty much that's that. So I'm going to get on with.
If it falls apart.
If it falls
apart. Would
apart.
it fall apart? What's the advice if it falls apart?
If it falls apart, you can just start again.
Okay.
It's no problem. Start again. Don't try and take the rice off. Just start again. There's plenty of sheets there, you know, so you can really...
Sellotaping it all in. Come on, stay there.
Obento have done a great job of supplying extra stuff as well. So, you know, this will last you for a long time.
Oh,
you know?
Savage. So this is the sauce that we made earlier on?
This is the sauce that we made earlier. So this is our Japanese mayonnaise. There's a gorgeous taste off this. So we're just going to go on like this. Now, notice I'm not putting it at the very bottom. I'm putting it 3/4 down the way.
Okay.
I'm not, you know, that's pretty much the way it should be there. I'm not putting on too much either, because what happens is when you roll it, the sauce will start to come out the edges of the sushi roll, and it's just very messy. And then again, you have too much moisture in there, you know?
Right.
You don't want to have too much moisture. Just enough to be delicious. So
that's the smell. It's divine.
Yeah, it's good. So
I was like, I'm not eating this might not have any breakfast because I knew I was coming here. And
so you can
up to everyone else who wants to figure it out for this. I'm like, yes.
So, well, yeah. I mean, you can have sushi for breakfast as well. But yeah,
it's the nutrients and everything about it as well. I've been reading up so much about it that it's good for you.
Yeah, it is. It actually is good for you. Sushi itself is good. Now, depending on the ingredients you put in it, but you know, traditional sushi it's very good. It's got loads of vitamins in it. So I've just put the avocado and cucumber on there now, and I'm also going to put my tofu. Now, notice the way the tofus, they kind of look like fish fingers. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to slice the tofu down the middle now. Okay. So basically, what you're doing is you're just making this manageable for yourself. Okay. That's why I always recommend, you were saying with the tips and stuff like that,
yeah.
Always have a sharp knife. People are like, what tips do you have for this? I always go back to the basics. You have to have a sharp knife. And if you're uncomfortable with having sharp knives in the house, just buy a good one, put it away in the press, leave it there. You know, if there's kids running about the place and stuff like that, just leave it away and just use it when you need it, you know?
So we're at a big crucial stage here now. So we've put on the cucumber, we've put on the avocado, we've put on the sauce.
Yeah, we've put on everything. And the last thing is the tofu. So we're basically just quartering them, okay?
Right, okay.
So like this, again, we're going to go down.
And would you tell people, you know, to make it as skinny looking as possible for it all to fit in, or would you say, you know, big proper one for your hand?
It depends really. Like you can see now with this, I've just made it a bit more manageable for myself even.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Oh geez, the smell's coming off. That's amazing. But
I know.
So what we're going to do now is we're just going to roll this up. Okay. Now this is the important part. Okay. If everybody's watching, what you need to do is, okay, you're grabbing the end of the sushi roll, okay? Don't be afraid to touch some of the food items. Pushing it over, the 2 fingers in here, right?
Yeah.
Over, and stop. Once you stop there, okay, you're going to tuck in with your hands. So
Would
basically,
people get nervous with this part here now? Is this, you know, this is a part where, you know, it could go one way or another?
Yeah, pretty much. And the biggest tip I would give here is make sure that it's airtight. Well, not airtight, but tight enough so you're basically giving it a good squeeze. Don't be afraid to be rough with it. It does, I mean, it really does, it can take a good bit of, you know, abrasiveness with this. Mm-hmm. So, because the rice is so durable. So we're doing a nice squeeze, lifting the sushi mat up again, okay?
Yeah.
Using the rest of my hand to roll it. Stop again, double check that it's nice and tight. And we're going to use our hand to roll the rest of the way. So what we're doing
every time it does a roll, you tighten it up?
Every time it does a roll, you tighten it up, yeah.
Okay.
And if you think that it's not tight, just do it again. Just trust me, just do it again, because it's a lot harder to unroll it when it's fully rolled. And it's just a disaster then. So yeah, don't be afraid to take it off and just have a quick look.
I think this is where the cling film even comes in really well too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does come in well, but the sushi mats are made so well that you don't actually need the cling film for this. The main reason for the cling film is basically just to...
laziness. It's laziness,
It's
everybody.
laziness.
That's what
I
it
mean,
is.
come on, who wants to do dishes at the end? So look, it is.
I'm out of here after reading. So everything is in the Obento box that you would have got today, and all the packages and all that as well. You'll see all the ingredients there as well. So
you can see now that's the roll up there.
lovely.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to make a quick dip. So what we're going to do is, this is actually a really, really traditional, just really easy sushi dip. So we've got Obento's lovely Japanese soy sauce.
Lovely.
Okay. Now this soy sauce is actually really, really sweet, and that's why I like it. Because it's a real deep flavour to it, and it adds the sweetness with the rice and the Obento soy sauce. It just works so well together. It's just magic. And again, so a bit more sesame oil in here. So we're just going to add in a drop.
Great.
So that's actually a traditional
So how
dip
much would
there.
that be? That would be
So you're talking
2 teaspoons.
You're talking about a tablespoon and a half to 2 teaspoons of sesame oil.
Okay.
And 1 teaspoon of sesame seeds just to garnish. And there's your dip.
Lovely.
So now we're going to slice this up. Okay. Now again, sharp knife. I like to cut off the ends.
The end bits would be like the walking around as you're prepping. So you're kind of having that pre-food before you sit down and enjoy the main part.
Exactly, yeah. Well, the end bits, I would. It's kind of like the heat of the bread. You either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to take them off anyway, just for display purposes. So we're just going to slice through this.
This is why I'm always like, why am I going to the gym? Because I do stuff
This
like
looks
this. Like
amazing.
I would have that part, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they're the bits to have before you enjoy the proper
Yeah.
parts.
Oh my God, this looks so cool. So you can see there, that's the sushi roll.
Wow.
So
And done so simple as well.
it's so simple. Now look, you can be creative. You can put peppers in here and get a nice kind of a rainbow color. You can do red, yellow. You can do anything really. And if you want to get really creative, you can make purees and stuff and dot them on top. But yeah, this.
Where
is
did you learn sushi? We got a question about that.
So it's actually a hobby of mine. I love making sushi. I learned it first of all in culinary school. I studied it for a couple of months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we learned how to freeze the fish properly. Basically, what fish to use. If you are making sushi, obviously with fresh fish, make sure that you go to a reputable supplier.
Okay.
Okay, because that's one of the main things. So yeah, I also learned it I used to work for Nevin McGuire, so I learned a bit in there off some chefs, and I also learned it from working in different restaurants.
Okay.
But I mean, this is just very basic. I wouldn't call myself, a sushi chef, but I'm definitely well skilled at it.
I'm looking at it here now, and I absolutely
So what I've done
love
is,
it.
basically what I've done here is I've just put the sushi up and down. So you kind of have that kind of Japanese Oriental style, completely up to yourself what way you want to serve it. So yeah, and if you want to get really fancy, what you can do is get yourself a small teaspoon like this.
Lovely.
Just go along the side of the plate and just bring it down. And now it's worth €100.
And if he smiles, it's 200. So don't. Someone wants to. Can you recommend a type of fish to use if one was to use a raw fish?
Yes, bluefin tuna.
Right.
Tuna is the best fish to use, I think. Now, if you want, you can go out and use different types of salmon and things like that, but tuna is just by far the best. Albacore tuna is quite nice as well.
Someone's given a shout out to Wilton Farmers Market on Tuesday in Cork. So that's where to get. Is there anywhere else? I know there's a fella in the Fairgreen in Navan that does it every Wednesday. We'll do a big whistle stop tour around.
And of course,
it's always good to get recommendations.
It is traditional in Japan to have a shot of sake after you have some sushi. So it is International Sushi Day. So we're gonna pour a shot of this.
And this is retro sake that you have there as well. And tell us a bit about that. What's the idea behind this?
So the idea behind this is tradition in Japan to have this. Yeah, so retro sake. It's actually very nice. It's a lovely deep flavor. So yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions behind it. People would go to Japan and be like, oh, can I get a glass of sake? Sake just means wine, basically.
Okay.
So you'd actually have to know the different types of them as well. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And yeah, it's just.
You've been dying to do it. Go on,
Happy International Sushi Day.
So it's as simple as that, and I think everybody that is actually, that amazing. Are commenting on it, they're saying how simple it is. Now we've gone a bit fast today just because of time, but later on today, if you check out Obento's Instagram page, and you can go on to ours as well and the taste and all that, we'll have all the links and you'll be able to stop, have a look, see how it goes. Someone said they want to double check. What is the oil in the kit? Is it sunflower oil?
That is vegetable oil.
Lovely.
Vegetable oil in the kit. So basically the reason we're not using olive oil or rapeseed oil or anything like that is because they have a lower burning point and we don't want anything to go on fire, so yeah. And also olive oil is very expensive. You would never really fry with that,
Perfect. Well, look, you have made it so simple and so easy to make that even I would feel confident, as well as eating it, being able to do it. The Obento box is fantastic. Everything's in it.
It's just, I can't get over how simple it is to make. I know I make it look easy, but it actually is easy. You know?
It is.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get creative with stuff like this as well. I mean, you can really just, put anything in here within reason, as I say again. Don't be shoving popcorn into it or anything. But you can do
His
it.
next TikTok video will be throwing popcorn in
Popcorn flavored sushi. But nah.
Well, thank you to everyone that has been watching today. And you can check out everything on the Obento box. You go onto their Instagram page later on. Check out your TikTok, which has millions and millions of views. And you're going to be doing something later on with this.
Yeah, so I actually have another video going up of how to make sushi on my TikTok later with all of Obento's amazing products. So get over there and check that out too. And pretty much it's been emotional.
Daniel, it's been fantastic. It actually really has. I'm starving, cannot wait. Thanks to everyone, all the background team today as well. Keelan, all the guys, Valerie, Obento, thanks very much for allowing us to do this here, because it's been great. And I think everyone, so simple. Everyone, all the comments are, it's simple, it's easy to make, and it's International Sushi Day. Get your sake, have a drink, and enjoy the sushi later on.